Welcome everybody to Woodwire and Watts. I'm Chris.
I'm Adam.
I'm Topher.
Today we're going to be talking about playing your first gig, how to book it, and how to prepare for it. Our original riff of the day challenge is what if Eddie Van Halen was the guitarist for Green Day? We'll also be sharing a song by the band Cedar Street and talking to them about writing and recording process as well as what gear they use to get their unique sound. So how are we doing today, everybody?
Doing quite well. Lots of good coffee.
Caffeinated?
Coffee and donut morning.
Look, we match. No.
What? Oh yeah, we're both rocking the old Crown mugs.
Ooh, fancy.
They have good coffee.
Nice. We kind of wanted to talk about gear news a little bit. Last week we'd heard about the EHX Intelligent Harmonizer. I think we were supposed to look into that. Did you do any reading on it?
No, but it does look like a pretty cool pitch shifter harmonizer. Very similar to like a Boss, like what is that, PS6? Whatever. One of the pitch shifters, but yeah, not something I've used a lot.
Same, no, but they on the video they did was it Avenged Sevenfold? Like they added the harmonies to it and stuff. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, they're cool effects if you only have one guitar player. There's a lot of gear drops last week.
Yeah, so I got a whole list of them, actually. We got the JHS Pack Rat came out, which is six different rat pedals all in one.
I think it was 6, yeah.
Yeah,
I watched a bunch of previews.
Yeah, what'd you think?
It sounded really good. Did you see the one they compared it to? They compared it side by side with all of the rats that they're supposed to be.
No, was that the Andy demo?
Yeah, okay, just A/B switching between them. Pretty sound. They sound, if not identical, pretty.
We should point out, you say this is last week, but...
Oh, yeah, so...
Technically...
Sorry, it's actually going to be a month ago. We're
recording this on the 12th of November. Looks like the Harmonizer dropped October 28th, and the 29th was the Pack Rat. And then we got I'm not going to be able to say this, Earthquaker Hizumitas Buzz?
We'll go with that.
I think that was perfect.
Good enough.
Yeah.
Flawless.
Yeah. It's supposed to be a Big Muff clone?
It's supposed to be it's supposed to be a clone of a Japanese pedal that was a clone of a Big Muff.
Which is that one from
the Boris?
The Boris one? Okay, yeah.
It looks like it rips though. I don't know. Earthquaker's like my favorite pedal brand.
All right. So last thing on my list I've seen happen this week, we had Cooper FX closes up shop, and the owner Tom is now working for Chase Bliss. So that's cool. I actually heard that on. Doesn't matter. I don't remember. Yeah, and then we're still waiting on those KTR drops.
The new clones, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I guess we can jump right into the original riff challenge, unless you guys have anything you want to talk about.
So every week we're gonna have a original riff challenge, and it's gonna be something weird or unique. So not the typical play your best 80s metal riff or play your best punk song riff, or it's going to be something off the wall. And for now we're gonna try out a couple things and see what everybody thinks. You can vote on it if you like. Eventually we might ask for your input and send us some riff ideas, and if we choose you, maybe you'll get a shout out,
T-shirt.
Or a T-shirt or something.
A hug.
Yeah.
From Topher. All right. So this week Topher is going to be the judge, I believe.
Yes.
And tell us.
Because I can't play guitar.
He's here to look pretty. The Riff of the Week challenge this time around is, what if Green Day had Eddie Van Halen fill in playing guitar?
All right. Adams is up first. Here we go. Oh man,
I felt like if they were asking him to play guitar, they would have to expect he's gonna just play Eddie Van Halen. He's like, all right. But
he was really holding back though.
He was holding back.
Not so many skilled dudes.
You think he would have? You think that he was a much more skilled guitarist than that, right?
Oh, beautiful.
Oh my god!
What's the rating?
I want to hear yours first.
All right.
I'm not gonna give ratings.
I took a few liberties with this.
My favorite.
I might have misunderstood the rules at first a little bit because I did lead and rhythm guitar parts, but I purposefully deviated at one time. Purposely deviated at one time because, and I'm very adamant about this. Okay, this is supposed to be Van Halen filling in for Green Day, and you can't really have Van Halen without having Diamond Dave, who is superior to Sammy Hagar. Just saying.
Are we gonna get some Chris vocals? Is that what you're saying?
Oh god, no.
That's what I'm hearing.
Oh Lord, no.
That's what I'm hearing.
I was excited. I thought we were gonna have Chris being David Lee Roth.
Yeah.
You can do the kickflip for me or whatever. All right, here we go.
Get that spandex.
That's beautiful.
I felt like that was like Green Day was on back of stage and Van Halen just set this gigantic stack in front of them and cranked it as loud as he could. He's like, nope, not having it.
Look, I am in charge now. This is my band.
The members of Green Day are just back in the back like, what is going on here? Why? All right.
Yep. Very good.
You win.
That's fair.
Like I said, I did cheat a little bit. I did cheat. Oh Lord. All right.
Got a little bit of speed in you, buddy. I'm gonna try to sweep pig some arpeggio.
In all fairness,
let me do it at half the speed it should be.
In all fairness, it's not sweep picking, it's tapping, and I do my one tapping riff and then hold the note. That's all you got. I pulled my one shred riff out for this. Oh man. All right. What's next? that was something.
You guys, if you wanna chime in and tell us if you dug that and if you have any ideas for future episodes,
tear them apart.
They're just gonna all be hating.
Yeah. Where are we at? Okay.
I have several YouTube accounts. I'll give my opinion.
I can't wait to be cyberbullied by you again.
Oh yeah.
Maybe try playing guitar with both hands.
It's just what we do in this family.
Oh, beautiful. All right, so we're getting into this week's topic. We're talking about booking your first show. All right, so I'm just gonna start with the questions I had. So when did you guys first start booking your own gigs? How old were you?
Who wants to go first?
All right, so I believe my first gig was not actually booked anywhere as a venue. My first gig was setting up a stage in this empty field across from my house. The one between the two apartment complexes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
So it was terrible. We were not good, but we had cars set up for lights. Built a wooden platform stage and invited all our friends. And then after that, it was just people. We're like, oh, well, we should do this together here. We should do this together here. So it was just networking from there on out. And I think that really is just the biggest way to get gigs is just networking.
Oh, that is absolutely. That's the perfect first gig too.
Yeah.
Just to do what you can.
No one knows you, so you just do it yourself.
That sounds very like that would have been a country song out of the 90s. Got the pickup trucks out to headlights and
Oh my god.
So
right.
what was the name of your first band?
Blue Ridge Brother. Well, no, technically Like Mike was the first band, but Blue Ridge Brothers was what that was.
So it was a country band.
I recall seeing Blue Ridge Brothers actually.
So I went through today and was like counting out all my bands. I've been in 14 bands.
It's a lot of bands.
It's a lot of bands.
I've never done that. I'll have to do that.
Yeah, it's fun.
I'm not going to do it now.
Yeah. So tell us about your first gig.
Well, I guess the first performance was like a couple of high school talent shows, like band getting together and learning one or two songs, and friends going, "Do you want to try and make a band to do this?" And just attempting our best shot at whatever cheesy cover. First gigging though experience was right after high school. I was like, I learned a bunch of Bob Dylan and whatever folk songs, and I remember driving down to Fort Wayne to like shop out like CDs and cassettes to like coffee houses and go, "Hey, can I play here?" And you know, after asking a few of them, I eventually got something set up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with networking when you're in a band is just getting to meet everybody else. Sometimes that's easier than asking venues.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Makes sense.
I think you'd mentioned at one point that like when you first get your stuff together, you're first getting all your songs put together and you're wanting to play out. You mentioned open mics. That really is an extremely helpful way. Because also for a while there, I had taken some time off from music, and when I came back into the scene, I was like, the scene's changed. I don't really know where to get started anymore. So I just went to like Matt Anthony's open mics.
Oh yeah,
and it just talk to people, and which more networking, but yeah, open mics is that good way to get playing in front of people, and then you talk to the people after you're done, and you just engage with the other performers there.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of people who play regular gigs go to them to shop, try new songs and things. So like you can absolutely meet people who can help you get stuff set up. It's also a good way to shake your nerves out to get ready to play real gigs.
Yep.
There's a lot of benefits to it. It's like kind of a open mic is like the gateway drug to regular gigs.
Nice. I should probably give the audience a background. So these guys have been in lots of bands. I've always been the like hire your piano accompanist, but really it's guitar. So my gigs have been a little strange. That's why I'm looking to these two for their advice. So I think some of the other things we wanted to talk about, like after you guys do book your first gigs, like how do you go about making sure you get to come back and like settling on pricing for like if it's actually a hired gig or
so the pricing part
I'm not good with that. You take that.
Topher's like, you guys get paid?
That's it. I'll be like, hey, give me a hug. I'll play.
Oh yeah, for sure. I do a little bit to talk about it with price as trying to book gigs with a band, solo, whatever. When it comes to pricing, it's a lot about what kind of music you play, the venues you play in.
Yes. Are
you a person or a band that fills out a 3 or 4 hour show somewhere playing covers? Are you playing with 3 other bands at a all original event? These things change a lot. If you are a cover solo artist or cover band and you play those kind of bars, a lot of times you are going to say, hey, this is what we charge. And it's, you're trying to, hopefully they're going to accept that or work with you. If you're playing original music, depending on the venue, sometimes those are door charges. It's like, hey, $5 to get in, $10 to get in, and that's split up amongst the bands for the night. So your what you make is entirely based on how well you draw.
Yeah.
And so you have to, take that into account depending on how far away you're going, how much money you guys have to spend on gas and travel, and those are sometimes the most fun gigs to play, but not always the most lucrative. And sometimes the most lucrative things that I've done are playing solo acoustic covers for 3 hours in the corner of a pub or a restaurant. It's maybe not glamorous, but sometimes that is what it is. But I think knowing the area you're in, and one tip I could say is when you're getting started, get to know other artists or bands that play similar music to you or similar area of music and venues, and kind of ask them how it works so that you have some advice before you go in and book something and say, hey, Mr. Venue owner, I'd like to book, because you don't want to be like a deer in the headlights when they go, how much do you charge, or something to that effect, because that is a horrible question to have to answer on the spot if you haven't thought about it.
So you did bring up a good point, I think, about the door charges and that. And I know it's a bigger deal in a lot bigger cities than here in Fort Wayne. Not that we're not big, but we're neither big nor small here.
Mm-hmm.
And I know Sunset Hall, if that rings a bell, used to be bad about it. If that rings a bell, they used to do a pay-to-play sort of thing, if I remember correctly, and then you make your money back on the door charge. So what do you guys like? Do you guys do pay to play at any point, or what's your opinion on it? I feel like this is a loaded question because I think
I don't touch pay to play. We don't touch pay to play.
There we go.
I'm not down with the pay to play, man. That's I can play for free for my cats in the living room. If you've taken the I don't know if you guys agree, but if you've taken the time to practice and learn songs, and then if you have a band and you're getting your band together to rehearse those songs and or record them and prep, you have to pack all your gear up and set up. There's a lot that goes in. It's not just the hour or hour and a half that you're playing. There's a lot of time invested. And if somebody's like, hey, pay us money so you can come perform, or hey, if you guys sell 100 tickets, you can come play, and we'll give you like 5 tickets worth of, it's not worth it.
There's that old joke about a musician, or what's the definition of a musician? It's somebody who takes $5,000 worth of equipment in a $500 car to make $50 at a gig.
Yep.
Expanding back off that cover charge and stuff, and like how you're getting your money based off that door charge. I think some people don't really pay attention to, like, if you can draw a crowd, you can make good money off that. But in order to do that, you have to be putting on a show. I think some people forget to put on a show. They're just playing music. One important thing is to get people who want to see because I mean you're begging people to come out and see you. You're asking people to come give you money, basically. And you want to entertain them if you're going to be there. So make sure your shows are memorable. Like, you have to be moving, you have to be engaged, be doing something unique, like dress silly. Who gives it? Who cares when you're up there?
Yeah,
we'll beep you. It's fine.
Like, who cares when you're up there? What you look like? If you're silly, whatever. Who cares?
Yep.
People they're there to see you. They want to see you being different.
Yep. So. Some of the best performers or bands you'll see, like if you saw them in regular day-to-day life, you would not know that's the same people necessarily, because if you're a good performer, then your persona that you put on stage and the way you behave and dress, all those things, they go into people wanting to see you.
Some people argue that it's gimmicky and stuff to do stuff like that, but like, I mean, be memorable. Yeah, you're there to. I suppose you're there to share music, yes. But you're there to put on a show. People want to see a show.
Yep. If you stand there stiff and rigid at the microphone and with your guitars and not move much, the venue can buy a jukebox.
Yep.
So you did bring up like you're there to draw a crowd, there to bring, like, you're there to be entertainment for the people. So I think that leads into, like, how do you go about marketing and advertising for the show? Oof. You're really good at this, I think. Not that you aren't. I'm not knocking, but
sure.
Topher is a graphic designer.
I'm gonna go home and you guys can finish. I gotta go cry.
So I spend a whole lot of time on this. I mean, I try to make consistent posts weekly for shows. Like, sometimes if you're advertising way too far in advance, it's easy for people to just kind of to fade into, like, he's posting about that again. and then it just fades in the back of their mind. But if you're making posts that are kind of engaging, like videos, or I've been sharing to my stories and kind of engaging that way. Share to different groups, like get involved in the different music groups and share there. As much as I dislike it, I'm on Twitter. I'm like you join all the social medias you can, and just because not everybody hangs out in the same area, and you share it that way.
So do you guys find and I don't know because I don't like go to your place of work regularly. Well, but do you guys find like putting up, old-fashioned hard posters or anything, is that of any value anymore in 2021? Or
I haven't done it as much,
Yeah.
but I do have done it every once in a while at work, and it gets the people at work talking about it. And I've had some of them come out, and it's been interesting.
Sometimes posters are cool. I mean, like are useful. I think that if it's a big show, or you have a band that's semi-known that's coming to town that you're opening or playing for, and like you know that, hey, there are people around that if they walk by that they might go, hey, I'm gonna get a ticket, or I'm gonna show up. Or if you have a special release or something, but I don't do them as much as I used to, I would say.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
and I think also like after the pandemic, I mean, everything is so much more online now. People are shopping online. So that's where they're going to be hanging out.
Oh yeah,
that's where I'm advertising. Expanding on online advertising, I will not do like the sponsored ads kind of things. Is like they're like, oh, you could reach all these other people, like reach these people, like people from different states. I'm like, they're not coming.
So I did that with my old YouTube channel. I tried to do that once.
Yeah, it does not work.
It does not work. Yeah, I paid $5 and got nowhere with it.
Yeah, I think if you're going to do those things, like it takes a lot of research, and it takes a little more money to get started, and you have to really know what market you're targeting. Otherwise it's probably not going to pan out.
I'm gonna see. Me as a musician, I don't want to be a huge thing. I'm not looking to make it my full-time thing. It'd be cool if it was, but like I've got a huge family, so I'm advertising to my friends, to my community. I want the people that are coming to care about me, to care about what I'm doing. And so I'm not really concerned about the people that are outside my network.
All right, let's talk about lining up your sound guy and PA systems. This is cheating for you because you're the.
This is the fun part. So I think that when you are, it kind of this is something that shifts a bit over time, right? Yeah. So like when you're first playing gigs, like say you've done the open mic nights and the getting the band together, and now you're playing it. Now you're booked to play a show. I think you got to ask questions first, right? What venues are you playing?
Yeah.
Do they have sound systems?
Do they have it?
Do they not? If you're playing venues that like have a sound person, like playing original music, say like around here you're playing like say like at the Brass Rail or the Muse, or like a venue where it's all original music all night and they have a person who does that, then you don't always necessarily need to worry about it. You just need your own gear, your guitar stuff and all that. Yeah. But if you are playing at various other places where you have to show up and they don't have that, then economically, I don't think it makes sense if you're going to gig a lot early on to hire a sound guy and PA. It's not a cheap thing to do, and you might be giving them most or all of the money you make.
And to expect someone to do it, I mean, it's a lot of work. To expect somebody to do it for cheap, you gotta pay them.
Yeah.
So I actually have a little bit to weigh in on this because this is what I did for a minute, and not just with Last Platinum or anything, not just our bands. So one of the models that I know a lot of guys are moving to, and this is true for you basically pay the sound guy as a split member of the band.
Yes.
And that's assuming they don't have a stupid, ridiculous size sound system.
Yeah.
Like not 400-pound JBL mains. That was a poor purchase. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
So what I've nowadays I do, like, I've sought out gigs that are either have a sound guy or I will get a sound guy, but that's just because I'm so tired of dealing with it myself nowadays. I don't have the time to get to venues early enough to set up all the sound. But when we first started out, like you said, out of necessity, you start learning things about sound yourself. Like I can run a PA, and it's only because I had to.
Sure.
Like,
I think we're also like we're in a different era than we used to be, right? Like it used to be you had one dude who brought in an analog soundboard, like had a big one and the PA system, and that's what he had.
Yeah.
Now you can go out for not a whole lot of money, get like the Behringer, like just a couple of mains,
Yep.
and run it off an iPad, like
Yep.
some of us do. And like that's pretty much it for what, less than like $1,000. Like the mains by themselves, you can get like the Behringer ones are what, $250.
That's a
They're pretty cheap.
That's a good point. Like the technology is just jumped in the last few years. Like you can do a lot for a little bit.
I think it depends. You have to weigh a few different things in, right? Like what size is your band? How many people are in it? What size is the venue you're playing, right? If you're playing hole in the wall pubs and like just small dives and they don't have that big of a space, you might only really need to be miking up vocals and maybe the kick and or snare if your bands all have reasonable size amps.
That's a very good point. Because going from Paper Heart 4-piece to a 8-member band with horns, it's a whole different dynamic for sound.
Oh yeah.
And you probably didn't mic those horns a whole lot, did you?
Depending on the venue.
Well,
it depends
yeah,
on the
that's
venue.
fair. That's fair.
But yeah, nope. I learned that the sax gets a good mic, but you don't keep a mic away from the trombone.
And sometimes you use a shared mic
you can
too.
Put a 57 in front of it, like usually about arm's length, a little further than arm's length.
It's fun with Ty. With Ty, you can put a mic in front of him, but he's gonna be moving around. He's not gonna.
Yeah,
he's not gonna be anywhere near that mic.
Talking about for listeners, we're talking about a funk band that Topher was the singer for here.
Yeah.
And I get to run sound for you on occasion, and
that was fun.
It was fun. But yeah, no, I would say like if it's a smaller space, like some of the places that I've done for, I would put up a mic for the horn section as a solo mic. That way, whoever was taking something, they could just step up to it. Again, it depends on how big a sound system you have and how big you think you need.
Last one I did for that big of a group, they had 15-piece total, and yeah, you ended up just putting spot mics out in front of it because they had violins, they had I forget a bunch of fairly quieter wind instruments, and yeah, you kind of just pick your battles, but pick where you think needs the best reinforcement. Of course, that was the one where my board burned out on me, so that was a different story.
That's no fun to deal with.
No,
but,
right in the middle of the set.
So getting started, I think you just have to get what you need for your band size, and whether that's higher end or cheap gear depends really on where you're playing and how often you're playing. It's okay to buy cheap speakers if you're only gigging once a month and you're just having fun with it. If you're gigging 2 or 3 times a week or, every weekend constantly, then maybe you want to look at something that's going to last a little longer and take the abuse. I think you just have to make that determination.
Yeah.
Can you recommend a good starting? I know this is right off the top of your head. A good starting PA system, or just a couple of good powered speakers for
I still run pretty budget power speakers, to be honest. I've been running like I think it's the older version of Mackie Thumps for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
They're not the most pristine sounding speakers, but I haven't had a problem with them ever failing. So that
I ran
says something.
a lot of Mackie stuff over the years, like especially soundboards, and man, that stuff is built. Like you might not have the feature set, but yeah, it's like they're tanks, even the lower end stuff.
Yeah. Pretty much all the brands at this point make like the budget stuff. As long as it works, it usually works.
Yeah, 10 years ago that might not have been a thing. I have had some Behringer Eurodiscs burn out on me. Yeah, you know.
Yep.
Yeah, mid show.
Yeah.
All right, so
Cross your fingers. Sorry, I was gonna say cross your fingers. I'm still running. I'm running a Behringer XR18 mixer for all the gigs that we've been doing, and I haven't had any issues.
Is that the one that electrocuted me? Oh no, that was your rack.
That was the space upstairs.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
May have old wiring, maybe.
Yeah. All right, so speaking of gear, I guess, what gear do you guys think for? I mean, what kind of gear do you use for your different gigs? Again, loaded question because I'm there for some of them. But maybe let's talk about, how about this? Starting out, early bands, first bands. What do you think is the most necessary stuff to have? Like, what did you guys have when you started?
When I don't know if that's the best stuff to have, because when I started, I didn't have the best gear. Right? Nobody does.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I would much rather have like just a reasonably good budget guitar that has been well set up and stays in tune well and plays well.
Yeah.
So there's if you are a guitar player, bass player, whatever, you can buy a middle to high end instrument and it may do well, but you can also, if you don't have the money, then it's okay to buy something at a very budget level, save the extra little bit of money for the middle price you might buy, and pay someone who really knows how to set it up well so that it's going to play right for you.
Yeah.
I think that having that at a gig is huge.
As far as like acoustic gigs, I'd say acoustic gigs would be, as long as you got an acoustic guitar, like one main speaker. Like you don't really need a monitor because
You can hear yourself in your guitar.
The sound's going to carry out fine.
Yeah, if you're solo, you mean?
Yeah. And then, if you're solo, just some people do pedals. If that's your thing, yeah.
Do you need a pickup in your guitar?
Depends on if your guitar is acoustic or electric.
I have a strap. I don't need to pick it up all the time.
Perfect.
But as far as electric, if you're doing a full band kind of thing, good tuner.
Oh, yeah.
Learn that one early. Good tuner.
Not even just for the fact that you need to stay in tune, but that mute switch on the board.
Yeah, audience, as much as audiences love the song that's, you tuning for 10 minutes, that mute button.
Yes.
It's the world. Also, if you're first getting going on that stuff, and like, especially if you're younger and so you're not playing bars, maybe in the summer you're playing your local art festival for the city or outdoor whatever kind of thing, get a tuner that you can see when you turn it on outside.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Because some of them you turn them on and you can't see it.
Like there's the clip-on, like the headstock ones. Man, those are terrible in the daytime. Like if you're outside in the day.
So I can comment on this pretty well for the audience. I only got one eyeball.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I've had probably 8 different tuners, not including like the headstock tuners and that. Boss TU3, just a standard Boss TU3, is the brightest one I've seen. People keep talking about the Strobo Stomp HD. Under lights, especially if there's colored lights.
This guy knows.
Yeah, it washes out. So
I use a TU3. I use the short one that doesn't have a button.
TU3S.
Yes.
Yeah, nice. Yep.
More space for pedals.
Yeah, so if you really can't see, go boss.
Yeah, the rest is it's all based on your sound, what you need. But definitely, if you're playing, like if you're getting into playing, make sure you're in tune with your band.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Our the bass player in our band likes whenever I ask him to tune, he likes to say, "But I tuned last Tuesday." Sorry, Grip.
Oh man. So if we're talking electric, what kind of amps are we talking about? I know this could be an episode on its own and has been for some people. Do you need to show up with a 4x12?
I think you need 2 of them,
okay,
right? You
100
your
watts.
amp should be taller than you.
Yes,
by
of
the
course.
time, because that's important if you're playing for 12 people.
Yeah, no, I stick with a small 30 watt. It's fine with me. Like, I don't know. I've never been in any sort of space where I've needed big stacks. Like, it's fine if you do. If that's your thing, cool. If you're a wall of sound, that's your thing. Do it.
Just make sure you're the one hauling your own equipment.
Yeah. Like, you got to remember you're carrying that stuff up. And there's some venues where you're upstairs, and that's just not fun.
Especially if they don't have an elevator.
Yeah.
You run a 12 watt amp right off, like, for most of our stuff, right?
Yeah. I'm playing a Fender Princeton, like the 68 reissue. For most of the shows, it's only 12 watts. The other 2 amps that I own the other 2 amps that I own that I use frequently are 15 watts, and I think the other one's 5. I don't use big amps. That's what these things are for.
Yeah.
You put them in front of it. I think you gotta ask yourself what for your band, right? Do you guys have a PA system with your board has 2 mic inputs and they're for your vocalists? You might need to have a louder amp. But if you're gigging a lot and you have a good sound crew, they're running sound, or you have a decent sound system, then you can get away with a smaller amp. Or Chris and I have also recently both gotten into ampless setups to some degree as well.
DSM Simplifier, 0 watt amplifier. Yeah.
Backup guitar, super important.
Oh yeah, that too.
Oh my god. I can't tell you how many times like a broke string.
Drifting in and out, aren't you?
Yeah, like for a while there, you were saying, like, you were going on. I was like, oh, backup guitar.
Backup guitar.
It's never fun if you break a string and you do not have anything to switch out to. No one wants to see you restring your guitar.
But Topher, these old blues guys keep telling me I only need 1 guitar.
Oh my god, you need 2 guitars. Oh my god.
But Stevie Ray Vaughan restrung his guitar while he played it.
Oh, Stevie Ray Vaughan. Are you Stevie Ray Vaughan?
No, sir, I'm not.
He's not going to restring it for you.
True.
Have a backup guitar.
Have a backup guitar.
Have a backup guitar. Nobody wants to wait while you're restringing it.
No. Man. Good point, though. Good
And
point.
some shows you end up, I don't know, depending on the type of show and how many bands are booked. Sometimes the time frame you have to play is tight sometimes.
Yeah.
And so if you have a 40-minute spot to fill, and that is absolutely as long as you can play, if you have to take 10 minutes to stop and put on a string and then stretch it 10 times to get it to stay in tune, you might have just cut out a couple of songs.
Yeah. And I mean, like, we could also say the same thing for amplifiers, right? I mean, at least a backup solution. The Behringer GDI 21, like $30, plugs right into the amplifier, into your PA system, good to go.
Also, don't change your strings right before a gig.
Yes.
Do that.
Yes. I have a rule: 7 days before a show, never.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I break that rule. Sometimes I'll change them within a couple of days, but only if I know I'm going to have time to practice a fair bit and play them a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, don't change them if you're not going to have time to actually play through them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're going to be tuning twice as much.
Oh yeah.
And also, make sure you change your strings on the opposite side of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you know you got a gig coming up in a month, yeah, maybe it's a good time to reconsider. So I think we're coming down to the wire here. Like, we've hit most of the topics, unless there's something you guys let's talk about. You want to talk about selling merch or anything?
Yeah. The only thing I was going to bring up on the gear side is if you are, whether you are or not, like if you're a pedalboard person, a few things I would say to always have. If you run off of some kind of power brick with all your pedals, I always have packed in my bag like a small like 9-volt power supply, like a 1-spot with a daisy chain for it. So that way, if something terrible happens and you blow up your power supply, you can still plug it. You can still pull off a couple of the pedals that you use the most and plug them in. If you're a pedal person, and also having a handful of extra patch cables and a couple of guitar cables. That way, if something flakes out, you don't have to worry about it.
And check your board the day before the gig.
Thanks for the advice, because that's not something that's ever occurred to me.
Oh yeah, if you yeah, and it's hard to tell with patch cables too, because sometimes they go out and you can't figure out which one it is if you're running a bigger board.
Yeah.
That's why I stopped running bigger boards, because I actually ran into electrical issues. I had buy a good power supply. Had a Donner, the Donner 10-spot basically is what it was. So $40 on Amazon, and I was running 12 pedals off of this. And in the middle of the show, all of a sudden I started getting power drops, volume drops, and I have no idea what was happening. Luckily, it was just like a 3-set like church gig, but still like. It's embarrassing.
Oh, yeah.
And you don't want to have to, on the fly, figure out what's going on with that.
You said it was Donner?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, like, it's okay to buy, like, cheap pedals if you want to sound right. Because you can spend, $500,000 on a Klon, or you can spend, $30 on a Donner horsey pedal, whatever it's called.
Mosky Golden Horsey.
There you go. So you could buy either one of those, and they're going to probably work great for the time you have them. But man, don't buy a cheap power supply because you're going to have noise issues. It might break. Something you don't want to happen. And a lot of times they're not isolated. So like all that crosstalk and noise is
isolated is a lie, and most of those they will advertise as isolated too. And not isolated. Mm-mm. We can talk about what that means in a later thing, because that gets a little bit.
Yeah, that is. All right,
yeah,
cool.
Merch.
Topher, how important is having merch to sell at gigs?
Have you ever even sold a T-shirt?
I've actually been getting a lot better about it lately. So I have a bad habit of I've got plenty of merch, but I just hand that stuff away, man. Because mainly one thing, like, if you are selling merch, you can't really do it while you're playing. So you have to have someone dedicated to a table where you're selling merch, or and you have to have a certain display set up. And Adam's a lot better about this, actually.
I don't know if I'm good at it. I think that I've built a few portable merch displays. Old suitcases work really well for that if you're handy with woodcraft and things like that. But I think for me, it depends on the kind of gig, because sometimes nobody's going to buy merch. There are other kinds of shows that if you just know it's the kind of venue and the audience that will buy merch, and that's something you have to learn over time depending on the place you're at and the kind of bands you play with. Sometimes it's a way to make a lot of the money for the night. Other times it's a way to make nothing. I do think it's important to have some cheap merch that you can just give people. Yeah. Get cheap stickers, buttons printed.
Stickers and buttons.
Because then if your name is on people's gear, on the bumper of their car, on their jacket, somebody's going to read it and ask and look it up. So that's important. Shirts are a good way to make a few bucks if you get them printed cheaply enough at certain venues. But yeah, having a merch person helps.
Mm-hmm. Like, the quantity of stickers I've give away for free, I've seen those stickers in lots of various places. Some places they should not be.
I know there was an Ohio band that ended up giving you a handful of stickers that got plastered over for Hit the Lights.
Yep, Hit the Lights.
I had more Hit the Lights stickers. I've still never heard them.
Huge
but
stick.
Like that says something, right? Like I've never heard them, but I've had those stickers plastered over like 12 different guitar cases. Yeah. That kind of speaks for itself.
We've printed the last couple of times that we printed stickers. We've and this is a pro tip. if you plan on giving a lot of stickers away, there are some places that advertise as like doing band merch.
Yeah.
They cost a lot, and you're gonna pay more than you should. Sometimes if you go to a place that just does like promotional stuff for not just music, like just company merch stuff for like, you know,
Anything,
you know, for your local dentist's office or what, you know, like whatever boring, like it doesn't matter if they know how to print stickers, they know how to print stickers. And sometimes you can get a massive quantity really cheap.
Definitely like, don't get paper stickers though. Like
If you want them to last, vinyl.
Yeah, vinyl. It actually does kind of matter. Like, research what's going to be weather resistant and stuff. Because if you want them on bumper stickers or outside anywhere, they can fade and get destroyed real quick.
Yeah, thanks for clarifying that. Yeah, material
matters.
Yeah, where they're printed doesn't matter. What they're printed on and made of matters.
I have a question, but I think it needs to be reserved for a full episode. I think we've talked about this before, but who do you get to design those stickers?
Oh boy.
Yeah, is that's probably something we need to address in a full episode.
Yeah, that is something.
Yeah.
I do all mine, but you.
Topher does all of Fort Wayne's. Yeah, that's the city we live in.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, if you are an artist that you make art, it's helpful for your band. But I will say that it's definitely helpful for others and for yourself to collaborate with other artists and have people make art for your band. It exposes them and exposes you. So
it is to go on that. If your band, if you all have different talents at certain things, that can be, if you do have someone in the band that does art, talk to them. But also, like, if you, either someone in your band or you yourself, if there's a certain thing that can be used musically that you are good at, look about trading services with other bands and local musicians. Because sometimes, like, doing music it's not a cheap hobby, or even if it's a side gig for money, sometimes you spend a good portion of what you make. So if you have friends that are good at something else, I happen to trade a lot of recording services to people for other things.
No matter if you have a hobby, you're gonna spend money. Mm-hmm. It really is. Like, I mean, my wife crochets, and oh my god, the amount of yarn we have, and like, no matter what you're doing, you're gonna spend money. Just know that you're gonna definitely spend a lot of money if you're in a band.
Yes.
All right, guys. I should have said all this stuff right up front at the beginning of the interview, but this week's featured song is "That's It" by the band Cedar Street. We're talking with Dustin, who does their vocals and guitar. So yeah, this is kind of our first time doing this. We had some problems recording originally, so this is actually the take two. So hope you enjoy. We're going to be including all the links for Cedar Street and everything in the description. Yeah, enjoy. All right, so I'm going to try not to make it sound too formal, but I also won't keep you too long because, I know you've already done this once.
Yeah, know the questions.
Yeah, I'm trying to switch it up a bit. So you guys are wanting to do "That's It" as your featured song this week, right?
That's right, yeah. We were going to do something else, but it's not mastered yet, so it feels wrong to put it up, yeah.
So all this is still from like a new EP, or you guys are still...
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, sweet. That's It will be on our... Oops, sorry.
No, you're good.
That's It will be on our new EP, yeah.
Okay, what's the EP called?
I'd have to look it up, but I'm pretty sure it's Getting Over, Getting Better.
Getting Over, Getting Better. Gotcha.
Yeah.
We'll do links and all that fancy stuff to make it look like we know what we're doing for you.
Yeah, it's been such a long process.
Understand. Where you guys recording at? Like
1521 here in town.
1521.
It's Austin Putt.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So let's see. I'm gonna kind of dig into some stuff just specifically about the song first, I guess. Yeah, so like, did you write that, or do you guys do collective writing, or what's the story there?
Yeah, I usually write I usually bring so it starts out with band practice. Like usually we'll find a groove, I'll find a riff, and then sometimes I'll write a chorus on my own and I'll bring it to the table. I usually do most of the writing with the other guys kind of like adding or subtracting or giving things that make the song better. But yeah, I usually bring the hook.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. That's the hard part usually.
Yeah, that's the part I like.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, so on this one, was this mostly you writing, or you wrote the hook to it, or what's
Yeah, this one was funny because we were actually in the process of writing this new EP and we were talking about a single. We didn't have a single yet. And I kind of fucked around and came up with can I swear?
Yeah, it's fine. Well, we might beep it, but yeah, whatever you want to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're messing around and I found a little like chorus riff, which wound up being the chorus. And I was like, that's it.
Nice.
And I was like, oh, there's the chorus too. So I just kind of came up with, and that's all I had was that's it. And I just kept singing it and I wound up writing the hook around it.
Very cool. So I know you play guitar. Do you do the singing on it? Like, do you do any sing vocals too, or?
Yeah, I do all the lead vocals. Blake does all the dirty vocals. Yeah.
Okay, cool, nice.
Yeah.
So
Colin does some backup sometimes.
And who? Say again.
Colin, our drummer, does some backup sometimes.
Gotcha. Okay. So, what's your like? I know this is a deep question. Usually, what's your rig like? Are you like? Do you get pretty intense with everything? You just hard straight into amp, or what?
Yeah, this is funny because I talked to Topher about it, but I'm not really a gear guy. I'm more about the sound that I can get out of whatever I can get it out of. Right now, I'm playing an American Telecaster.
Okay.
It is the modern player American, so it has a humbucker and a lipstick or a single. I think it's a lipstick.
So humbucker in the neck and then lipstick in the bridge. Is that right?
Right. It's on the bottom. The humbucker on the bottom, which is the bridge, right?
Yeah, bottom.
I always get the two mixed up.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And then the top is. I want to say it's a lipstick. Maybe it's not. But
so
anyway,
if it's the small like metal looking one all the way across.
Right. Yeah. I just can't remember. I don't know if it's in here or not, but yeah, it's some sort of a single.
Yep. Fair enough.
I'm awful with gear. And then I run a Black Star HT20.
HT20. Okay. Yep. I'm familiar with those. Nice.
Yeah. It's my first tube amp. I was running a 4x12 with a crushed CR1 or orange CR120.
Holy crap.
Which is, it was a lot. And I wanted a big crutch sound, so, but I'm really liking this Black Star, man.
Oh, nice.
I don't run any pedals on it either.
You said that's 20 watt? Right?
Yeah, 20 watts. Yeah,
that's still pretty loud. I mean, I run a DSL 20 with one band I'm in with Topher, and that thing, yeah, you can hear it all the way down the other side of the road.
Right. Yeah. I really like the sound on it. It gives that full sound. We like a lot of full sound in our band since we're 3-piece. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So is that what you guys recorded with, or did you record direct in it all?
It's all direct. Actually, I lied. We have a few cleans that we used a Vox AC 120 or a Vox AC
30, 15.
30.
Is it the big 2x12?
Yeah, it was a 30. Yep. I had to move that son of a bitch.
Yeah, 80 pounds. Those things are
yeah.
But they sound great.
It was sparkly, man. The rest of it we used a Kemper. He has a in-house Kemper that we use. And
gotcha. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Those things sound amazing too.
I love it, especially studio. You can't tell the difference.
Yeah, not at all. No.
When it's buried, yeah.
The only thing is,
it's beautiful.
They run like $3,000 now. Half the time, it's more expensive than, especially or if it's the rack mount, it's like $3,000. So they're more expensive than a regular amp.
Yeah, our producer is crazy about gear. He's so into it, and I just kind of go with what he says is
whatever
the right thing to do. Yeah, he knows more about tone than I do.
Hey, it's a learning process for us all, man.
Right.
All right. So you said Telecaster into a Black Star. That's interesting too. Usually the metal bands don't use Telecaster. Or like, I shouldn't say like. I guess what do you guys consider yourself? Like post punk or? Yeah, I know that's a little.
I mean,
for everybody, right?
Yeah, it's such a hard question to answer because I like to fit us into the pop punk category just so we fit into a broader range. But we're more like new age emo, new wave emo,
Okay.
like emo, alt punk. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's still like usually I guess you don't hear people picking Telecasters for that, but most of the time I guess you put that humbucker and it sounds good. Yeah. Yeah, because I got
I usually don't even use the humbucker to be honest with you.
Really? You use the single coil in it?
Yeah. I play a lot of lead lines.
Okay,
A
fair
lot
enough.
of 9 chords. Yeah.
Yeah. So you said no pedals for anything, right?
No, I used to run an MT2 for my whole
metal zone, right?
That's right, baby.
Nice.
And so many people made fun of me for it, so I dropped it and started using the.
No,
I loved it.
Sweet. Don't let anybody tell you different.
Yeah, I loved it, man. I didn't have it ran up real high, so it didn't give me too much gain. It just gave me a nice little thickness, I guess.
So some folks are even turning down the gain on it entirely now and using it as like an EQ boost pedal. But
really?
Yeah, so Boss re-released it as a their Wazacraft model, so their custom shop basically. Yeah, so yeah, don't let people give you crap about that.
I was gonna say I've had that thing since I started playing guitar, man. It's been a chief.
Oh yeah, was that on?
I think people.
Did you use it on any of your earlier stuff, like recording wise?
I think we used it on our first single, which is not great.
Really?
Other than that, no. Everything was ran on a Kemper.
Okay, no, fair enough.
On our first EP, yeah.
Gotcha. Huh. Nice. Well, man, I don't have any other questions than that. Like I said, I was trying to keep it short. So where can we find you guys? I know Spotify, that's where I found you. But you got a YouTube channel or anything like that?
Yeah, Cedar Street on YouTube, at Cedar Street Band on all the social medias. Cool.
All right.
Awesome.
Thanks, man.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
All right, so I think that's about time for this week. Any last-minute plugs from you guys? Anything you're working on that you'd like to talk about real quick?
No, I don't think I have anything. I've got a show coming up next month, but if you're not local.
So next week we'll be joined by some special guests while we talk about teaching private lessons. We'll have a brand new riff challenge and some more stuff. Thanks for joining us on Woodwire and Watts. Until next time, tune up.
Crank the volume.
Let it rip.